If you want a taste of just who is in charge of the Republican Party, take a look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, their shining star, born out of the bowels of QAnon. Greene was forced to testify in Georgia state court today in a legal challenge to her candidacy. The plaintiffs accuse her of violating the Constitution by inciting violence because of her incendiary comments rallying political terrorists to the Capitol for January 6th. For someone who loved to speak her mind, she sure had a lot of trouble remembering a number of key conversations.
Did you discuss with Mr. Alexander the idea of you coming to appear at a demonstration on January 6th?
I do not recall that.
My question is just about whether anybody at all ever mentioned to you the possibility of violence.
I don't remember.
Okay, so you're not denying it, you're just saying you don't recall.
I don't recall.
Did you talk to people at the White House about the fact that there were going to be large demonstrations on January 6th in Washington?
I don't remember.
Did anybody on your campaign staff, or did you authorize the provision of funds, of money, to people who were planning a demonstration on January 6th?
I don't think so. I don't recall that at all.
Ms. Greene, did you advocate to President Trump to impose martial law as a way to remain in power?
I don't recall.
So you're not denying you did it, you just don't remember.
I don't remember.
Two sources told a Rolling Stone reporter that there were dozens of planning briefings with members of Congress and White House staff ahead of the January 6th rally. One source, an organizer, said, "I remember Marjorie Taylor Greene specifically." Now, if that doesn't jog her memory, then let's just go to the videotape.
Just finished with our meetings here at the White House this afternoon. We had a great planning session for our January 6th objection.
Representative Greene was joined in court by Florida Representative Matt Gaetz, who is being investigated by the Justice Department over whether he had a sexual relationship with a minor. America, take a good look at these folks because they are dangerously close to controlling Congress. Join me now is Congressman Adam Schiff of California. He's a member of the House Select Committee on the January 6th attack and the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, it's always good to speak with you. I don't know if you had a chance, and you're a busy man, to watch much of this hearing today, but watching it made me think, maybe the January 6th committee might want to talk to Marjorie Taylor Greene. What do you think?
Well, it looks like we're getting a real sense of what her testimony would look and sound like, and there would be a considerable failure of recollection on some very key things. It's hard to imagine if you were calling for the imposition of martial law to overturn an election that you wouldn't remember doing so. But look, as we are reminded again so vividly this week, there are a number of members, probably Kevin McCarthy principally among them, with very relevant information about our investigation. McCarthy earlier said when we asked him to testify that there was no point in his testifying because he had said everything that he knew publicly. But of course, we found out that was yet another lie. And we found out just the magnitude of that lie in the last 24 to 48 hours.
And, you brought up Kevin McCarthy. I mean, these new tapes that are coming out of this new book that show that he said precisely what was reported in the New York Times that he said about Donald Trump. He had a moment of clarity, like Lindsey Graham, and then suddenly reversed it. And I think a lot of people are wondering what happened in between the moment of clarity and reversing it. Was it just talking to Trump? Was it just people suddenly laying on him how much the Trump base loved him? And a lot of people have that question. Do you think that it might be worth even trying to talk to Kevin McCarthy?
Well, I think these latest revelations will kindle another discussion among our committee members about what to do about these members like McCarthy who have relevant information, who are refusing to come in voluntarily and do their duty. I don't know how those conversations will conclude, but what is so staggering to me about this, Joy, is Kevin McCarthy talks to his Republican colleagues after this attack on the Capitol. He acknowledges the president bears responsibility. He says he talked to the president. The president admitted bearing some of the responsibility for that attack. He talked about calling on the president to resign. And then when he's asked about this, he lies about it, not just lies about it, but he attacks the New York Times and how dare they suggest this? And isn't this just them doing their fake news thing? Just the audacity of his lies. And the fact that the reason he drove Liz Cheney out of the party is that she wouldn't join him in those lies. And those tapes give such evidence of the fact that he knows what he is saying is just another big lie.
What do you make of the fact that, this series of events that He's on these leadership calls with Liz Cheney. She, at the time, was in leadership, so he must know that he was on the calls with her. Then he flat out denies that he said what she heard him say. A lot of people are trying to source those tapes to Liz Cheney. Do you want to disabuse anyone of that? The release of the tapes?
You know, Liz Cheney is not the kind of person that's going to be leaking tapes and denying it. That's just not who she is. You know, one of the things that this chapter of our history has revealed is something that the historian Robert Caro once said: power doesn't corrupt as much as it reveals. It doesn't always reveal us for our best, but it says a lot about who we are. Well, power revealed Liz Cheney to be a person of great courage and conviction. It revealed Ken McCarthy to be utterly craven. And in fact, so many of the other members of his team, like Elise Stefanik, who, when Liz Cheney said, "I'm not telling a big lie that eats at the heart of our democracy," Elise Stefanik put up her hand and said, "Well, I'll tell that lie or any other you need if I can have her job." And so I think that those attacks suggesting that Liz Cheney was the source of this are just an effort to tear her down when it's Kevin McCarthy who's being torn down by his own falsehoods.
Let me play one more thing, because this is the person for whom, beyond Donald Trump, Kevin McCarthy works, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here's another thing she did not recall, and this was calling Speaker Pelosi a traitor. Take a listen.
In fact, you think that Speaker Pelosi is a traitor to the country, right?
I'm not answering that question. It's speculation. It's hypothetical.
You've said that, haven't you, Ms. Greene, that she's a traitor to the country?
No, I haven't said that.
Okay. Put up Plaintiff's Exhibit 5, please.
Oh, no, wait. Hold on now. I believe by not upholding the securing the border, that violates her oath of office.